last week. Can't believe I'm out of here. I guess it's been fun. It's been interesting. Give or take 20 years here. Yeah, we'll say I spent 5 years elsewhere. 2.5, 3.5, 4, 5. Yeah. I had 25 years. I've been alone for 5, well, on my own. Supporting someone else most of the time. For 5 of them. Or living elsewhere. I mean, existing elsewhere. Because there was 2 years in plantation. And 6 months in Jacksonville. 3 months in Arkansas. A year and a half in Fort Lauderdale. So that's 4.5. And then the 6 months down the street at Jim's. Wow. 3 or 4. Oh, shit. There was the 6 months that I spent. 3 months on 25th. 2 months on Arthur. And 25th. But this has been home. This has been home for so long. And the more I try to do right, the more wrong I am. I'm sick. But, like usual, when I need them most, everyone turns their backs. Mike said he won't. He said I can't get rid of him. He'll never go anywhere. I love him. And I want to have a family one day. Soon. But right now everything's so messed up. I told myself this year I wouldn't carry any extra dead weight. And that's the last thing I want to see him as, is dead weight. But right now, I mean, my situation is not good. On my own, I would probably still be allowed to stay. And on my own, I would have a place to go. Oh, that's right, there was like 3 or 4 months on the beach, too. For 19, 20 years I've lived here. I need to stop frowning, this crinkle in my forehead, this worry. See it? W, worry. I've got a lot of it right now. I can take care of myself. And I'm not afraid of that. what I'm afraid of is what I'll have to do to take care of us. See the little fish? See my fish? A painting sample. I think I want to work on Sandra, my sea turtle, tonight. And look, I can do pigtails again, finally. They're not really the cutest thing because of, you know, my lack of hair. There we go. Does that, the lighting's a little better. It's going to get real dark real quick because I'm going to turn it down. There. That's, oh, damn it. It's better when I'm closer to it. There, mid-light. I think I'm going to work on Sandra tonight so that I can finish her before I have to leave. I told everyone I'd be out of here by Sunday. But I have another weekend because I can't get my ID until Monday. On the 4th, I can go get an ID. I just gotta figure out exactly what they're gonna charge me, where I gotta go, if I can make an appointment online, and if not, how I'm gonna get to the place you can walk into and walk out of and not have it be an all-day task. Because the closest place here, I thought it was an appointment-only Department of Motor Vehicles, but Mike's saying you can walk in. It's just not wise. And I agree, because that's where I got my first license, my first ID, when I was 16. Because in the state of Florida, when you turn 16, you've reached the legal age of consent. So you can have sex with an adult as long as that adult is no more than 5 or 7 years older than you. But you also are legally bound to carrying an identification card when you turn 16, so that if you are stopped and questioned, you can furnish ID. So I had to get an ID when I was 16, and we made my appointment, and we went and got it. And I only got the ID card back then because I used to have terrible panic attacks when I drove, and I couldn't foresee driving. I didn't get my permit, my learner's permit, until I was 18 or 19. I didn't get my license till I was 21, almost 22. But by then I had been driving since right before or after, right around my 21st birthday. That's when I started to drive. And I decided that I needed a license because, you know, obviously, wait. I got my license in Vinny's Hyundai. But I had already been dating Nick for a year when I broke up with him and finally gave Vinny a chance. I gotta get rid of that little fucking flucking cow in the back there. See it? Right there, the cow. always thought about doing nice things. Like Valentine's Day. That cow was my Valentine's Day present one year. 'Cause that's what you get someone with an eating disorder, a cow. Used to be my nickname for years. I confessed to Mike that when he first met me, I had an eating disorder. And he said, well, see, I fixed you. I made you healthy again. And I told him, no, not this last time, not when we ran back into each other in December. Although I still have an eating disorder to this day. But what I have been talking about was how alright, when I was very young, like 5, 6 years old, my parents got divorced. And then, when I was like 6 or 7, I kept getting bronchitis, and I would have a bronchial cough for 6 months out of the year. And they decided that I had asthma. So they put me on all these nebulizers and corticosteroids and all those things. And as a result, I gained a lot of weight. So once I got to middle school, because when I was younger, 5, 6, 7, I was like a stick like I am now. And then the asthma and the steroids and the binge eating to deal with the feelings that I didn't understand. Because Jim couldn't protect me from Tom. All Tom had to do was give him a hit. Let him smoke some crack and he was a great guy. He and 2 little boys and was a lawyer, and my dad held rose-colored glasses over this guy. What he didn't know was that every time Tom had me alone, he'd reach up my shirt, reach down my pants, and my childhood ended. I got a scar on my wrist. See it there? See that faded scar? That's from where I broke my arm jumping out of a golf cart because Tom was taking me to the stables to show me his horses. Show me the horses. He didn't show me other things. And I knew it. So I leapt out. And I fractured my arm. And then I came home. You know. And nobody wanted to do anything about it. And I slept on the couch that night, and the next morning I was laying on the couch, or the next afternoon, and my little brother James decided that he wanted to lay on the couch, so he climbed up the arm and onto the back. He's 2 years younger than me. And he jumped down onto the cushion and kicked me off onto my hands and knees. And there was a slight crackling sound. And then he jumped off the couch onto my back to ride me around like a horse. And the crack was louder. I couldn't move my fingers. So Mom took me to the doctor, and obviously I had broken my right arm. At least I learned to be ambidextrous. Thanks for that, Tom. Thanks for the sex education, I guess, too. And thanks for only expecting me to kiss you on the lips. And for not mounting me, I guess. You know, I've learned to look at the bright side of things. Like when I was raped and I thought, well, at least they took turns. I still don't know fully what the repercussions were of that. I mean, it took a long time to figure out what the repercussions were of Greg. Because of my abandonment problems with men, I always make such bad choices. When I was 14, I went out to a nightclub, an all-ages nightclub, to watch a band. And I saw this guy across the club, and he was like 6'6", and he was tall and thin, and by that time, I had such a severe eating disorder that I was tall and thin too, like I am now. But yeah, back to that. I was fat all the way up until 5'0", 150 pounds. Square. No boobs. No bottom. Until 7th grade. And then after 7th grade, between 7th and 8th grade that summer, I grew 6 inches and lost 45, 50 pounds. All the girls that made fun of me for being fat couldn't make fun of me for being fat anymore. Now they could only make fun of me for being smart. I never dated anyone who went to school with me, so I couldn't be called a whore. Because they tried that at one time. And I explained that I was not. And so, when I was 14, I sat at that nightclub and I saw him across the room, and I went and I said to my friend Christina, who was my best friend at the time. She ended up sleeping with Greg. Greg ended up sleeping with 8 or 9 other girls when I saw him a couple months ago. I was a blitch. And I told him I was sorry that I couldn't deal with him dating 9 other girls. And only coming home to handcuff me to the bed frame and rape me in my... Because straight sex was too much of a risk anymore. Because he didn't want to use a condom. And he wasn't even there for me on December 26th, the day after Christmas, when I went in and had my first abortion. Well, I took the pills and induced a miscarriage. I was allowed to go home for that. But due to Stockholm Syndrome, I couldn't say anything ill about him. I couldn't let anyone know what was happening to me. I was too ashamed that I had picked this guy and he was supposed to be Mr. Right. And the only time he interacted with me was to anally rape me. The only time I could go home was when he planned on bringing another girl back to the house. Why didn't I just run away, right? Well, I still have problems in public restrooms because the slide click, that sound, it still gives me goosebumps. Because the door was locked on the outside and I couldn't get out. I finally jumped out of a second-story window one day and left all my clothes that I didn't use to break my fall, of course. I should have used Laura's clothes, though, for more padding. I broke my glasses that day. Threw me out of a moving car once because my best friend Christina, she called me and she said, "You're not going to the show tonight, are you?" I said I had wanted to, but I don't have a ride. Why? How are you getting there? She says, "Greg." My Greg? Yeah, we're going on a date. He told me you two are broken up. I didn't know any of that. He didn't tell me. So she had him pick me up. And I had to sit in the jump seat in the back of his pickup. While she sat in the front seat and rubbed on his clock. I made it about 6 blocks before I kicked him from the back seat because I could see what she was doing. And then that was in like September. No. Sorry. That was 3 days before my 15th birthday. It was in August. And then in December, no, in March of the next year, his dad ran off to Mexico with his secretary, and left me in charge of her son. And so we went out and took the little boy, he was 5 years old, and he had a crush on me. It was really cute. And we left him at Greg's mom's house to have a play date with Greg's great niece, who also lived with them, Angel. She said I was her sister. In 3 more days, Chloe, you're my sister. And I stayed so that nothing bad could happen to Angel. Other terrible things were happening to me. I just didn't know how to escape. I wasn't strong enough to. But so, around St. Patrick's Day, and we go back to his mom's, and he throws his dad's house keys at me. For some reason, just to pick a fight, to try to get me not to go. And then we go pick up Chrissy, and we take her to the show, and he wanted to bring her back and have a threesome with her. To please him, I agreed. But when we got back to his dad's house with the kid, the keys were still behind the speaker where he had thrown them at me. And he didn't know where they were, but he didn't want me to go get them. He wanted to go with Chrissy. And I wouldn't let him because I knew what was going to happen. So once we finally got in to his dad's house and locked ourselves in the room the kid was sleeping, I had to use the restroom, and I walked out of the door, and I walked across the hallway. And when I came back, the bedroom door was locked. So I sat in the bathroom, and I cried for 2 hours until the bedroom door opened, and he came out with a limp little thing and stuck it in my face and ordered that I suck it because she wouldn't. I was so upset. I told him he made the wrong decision and it was time for her to fucking leave. She didn't. And he slapped me in the face with it and got all mad because I wasn't going to get him hard so we could have sex with my so-called best friend, who obviously wasn't my best friend. But I've always made bad choices. And now, I have cancer because he was unfaithful and transmitted an infection to me that caused the cancer. So now I'm 25 and I probably won't have kids. I have to go in 2 weeks for a sonogram or an ultrasound or something to figure out why I haven't had my period in 8 months. My last boyfriend, Nick, he keeps throwing it in my face that I don't bleed, that I can't have kids. And I'm a junkie. He called me a whore and told me I was loose. Told me I was ugly. Told me I was too skinny. That he didn't trust me. And that he'd never trust me. But yet he claimed he loved me. But he would only come over and have sex with me and then leave. Once he got what he wanted. But that's the whole story of my life. Get what you want and leave.